Welcome to another Tech Help video brought to you by AccessLearningZone.com. I'm your instructor, Richard Rost. Today we're going to talk about determining if there are records in a table or query before you do stuff with them. What kind of stuff? Well, open a form, open a report. You can basically check to make sure there's going to be data before you get an error with the open form or the open report. And this is a developer level video, and I've actually labeled it extra nerdy, because we're going to talk about some extra nerdy theory today. So, yeah, let's get to it. So today's video comes from a conversation we were having in the forums on my website. And Kevin, one of my moderators, love Kevin, he posted this. He says, I wrote a function to display a generic message if there are no records in a table, which also would work for a query. And he basically wrote it with a DCount. And it just checks to see if there are records in whatever you're trying to open, whether it's a form or a report or whatever. And it'll just give you a message, there's no records to display. This comes up more with reports than anything else, but it could also happen with forms. Let's say you got a contact report. It's based on your contact table, right? All your contact information. And if you got a button, let's say, that opens up this contact report, right? And there's no data in it. Maybe you're doing like, accounts receivable or whatever, and there's just no records. Well, if you make a button, let's make this button open that report. So I'll change it to do command open report, contact R, comma, let's go preview. Okay. And it opens fine now, but if there's no records in it, let's go to contacts and just delete all the records. If I open it now, I get a blank record, right? A blank report, which isn't very friendly. Now you can use on-node data. This is one of the things I pointed out to Kevin, with reports at least. You can come in here, there's an event called on-node data, right? No data right here. If no data, you could say, message box, no records, and say cancel equals true. But watch what happens if you do this. Okay, no records, and then you get the open report was canceled. This happens in several different places. This is just one example. This guy here throws an error. Now, sure, you could put on error resume next above it, and that fixes the problem. But a better solution, and the one that Kevin is suggesting, is, hey, let's just count the number of records that are in there before we do this, right? And let the user know that, hey, there's nothing in this record set. So in my global module, let me open this up. Kevin wrote a function. We'll call it public function get count data. And then you send in a data source name, right? That could be a table or a query as a string, and this will return along, right, the count of the records in that data source. I'm paraphrasing Kevin. He wrote a more complicated one where you can, have it checked based on different tables and stuff. But this is the quick version. And then inside here we'll say dim L as along. L equals DCount. We're going to count all the records from the data source name. Now, if you want to customize your message in here, you can. You can say if L equals 0, then message box, there are no records in data source name. And you can do whatever other stuff you want in here, end if, right? And then we'll just return the value as the function value, right? Get the equals L. And now, in our forms and such, before we try to even open that, we can just say if get count data of, what is this based on, contact T equals 0, then exits up before it even tries to open the report. You come out here, hit the button, there's no records in contact T. Okay? And if there is something in there, then it works, and there's your report. Okay? Now, as we always do in the forums, Someone else always has to chime in, and that someone else was me. This one here, you don't want to look at that one, right? I said if your goal is to see whether or not there are any records, you should use DLookup instead of DCount. DCount is great if you want the count of all of the records, but DCount and DSum, they have to read through all of the records to determine how many there are. So if you got 50,000 records, it's got to say, okay, I got 50,000 records here. It's got to count through them to figure that out. Whereas with DLookup, it just pulls the first record, which is much, much faster. It's faster with if you got huge tables. If you got little teeny tiny tables, you can't tell the difference, right? So then I put together this one that says, are there records, right? You got to send it a field name with this version of it, because this one up here, I tried to use a star, but you can't use a star with DLookup. So ignore this one, folks. All right, you send it the field name and the data source, and then it does a DLookup of the field name in the data source. And then if it returns a 0, right, because you're using NZ here, which will make it 0 if it's null, if it can't return a record, and that just returns true or false. And then a few minutes later, I said to myself, well, what if the function could look up the first field name in the table, right? Assuming, of course, it should be, it's best if it's an ID, but it doesn't have to be. It could be any field. And so then I put together this guy. And let me copy this, and we'll put it over in the VB editor, and we'll go through it. Let's go back to the global module. And down here, paste that one in. I made one called AreThereRecords. You send it a data source name again. Okay, this one returns a true or false. AreThereRecords. Now, this one's going to open up a record set, which basically is a pointer to a table or query. Okay. And it's going to say field name, a string, equals rsfields0.name. What does that mean? Well, every record set has a collection of fields, right? Customer ID, first name, last name, address, those are all fields. So field 0, the 0 item of the fields collection is the first record. Give me its name. Okay? Which would, customer ID or whatever the first field happens to be. It doesn't really matter. So then AreThereRecords is going to be not is null. We're going to try to DLookup that field name from the data source. So DLookup customer ID from the customer table. Okay. Is that null? That'll be true or false. And then we'll just not that. So if it returns a record, AreThereRecords will end up true. Right? If it's null, this comes back false. Because is null that will be true, and then this will be false, and then AreThereRecords will be false. Okay? Close the record set, clean it up, and now you can use AreThereRecords. I didn't put a message box in mine. If you want to put a message box in yours, that's fine too. Right? So what I did was, where's the thing? Let's go over to here. So I said, if AreThereRecords in contact are, then we're going to open it up. Otherwise, message box, no records found. And if. I like to put my stuff out here because usually I find that this is going to be different for every case, but it's up to you, right? So now, if I hit the button, oops, hang on. Oh, contact R. Duh, that's my fault. I'm looking in contact R instead of contact T, the data source. Okay, that was my bad. Hit it. And there it is. Now, if I delete the records, let's try it again. And there we go. No records found. So there's two great functions for you. We go back to where they were. Right-click definition. There's Kevin's. There's mine. I'll put these in the code vault for you gold members. If you like this kind of super nerdy stuff, come check out the forums on my website. They're absolutely free. Also, I got lots and lots of developer lessons where I talk about all kinds of nerdy stuff like this too. You'll find links down below for most of the things I talk about today, if-then statements, DCount, record sets, the on-node data event, that kind of stuff. So check all that out. And that's going to be your tech help video for today. Hope you learned something. Thanks to Kevin for this idea. Live long and prosper, my friends. I'll see you next time. A special thank you and shout out to our diamond sponsors. First, we have Juan Soto with Access Experts Software Solutions, manufacturing experts specializing in Access and SQL Server. Juan is a 13-time Microsoft Access MVP, You can check them out at accessexperts.com. Another shout out to Sammy Shama from Shama Consultancy. Sammy is a certified Microsoft Office specialist, and he not only offers Access application development, but he also provides one-on-one tutoring services. So if you need someone to hold your hand and help you with your Access project, Sammy is your guy. Check him out at shamaconsultancy.com. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up and post any comments you may have below. I do try to read and answer all of them as soon as I can. Make sure you subscribe to my channel, which is completely free. Click the bell icon and select all to receive notifications when new videos are posted. Want to learn more? Click the Show More link below the video to find additional resources and links. YouTube does a pretty good job of hiding it. It's right down there. See this part of the description here, right? The name, the video's up here. There's a little Show More down there, right down the bottom. It's kind of hard to find. But once you click on that, you'll see a list of other videos, additional information related to the current topic, free lessons, and lots more. And YouTube no longer sends out email notifications when new videos are posted like they used to do. But if you'd like to get an email every time I post a new video, click on the link to join my mailing list. And you can pick how frequently to get emails from me, either as they happen, daily, weekly, or monthly. Now, if you'd like to become a paid member of my channel and receive all kinds of awesome perks, click on the Join button. You'll see a list of all the different membership levels that are available, each with its own special perks, including my extended cut videos, access to my code vault, lots of VBA source code in there, template downloads, and lots more. I'll talk more about these perks at the end of the video. Even if you don't want to commit to becoming a paid member, and you'd like to help support my work, please feel free to click on the tip jar link. Your patronage is greatly appreciated and will help keep these free videos coming. I got some puppies to feed. But don't worry, no matter what, these free Tech Help videos are going to keep coming. As long as you keep watching them, I'll keep making more, and they'll always be free. Now, if you really want to learn Access and you haven't tried my free Access Level 1 course, check it out now. It covers all the basics of Microsoft Access, including building forms, queries, reports, and more. It's over 4 hours long. You can find it on my website or on my YouTube channel. I'll put a link down below you can click on. And did I mention it's completely free? The whole thing, free, 4 hours. Go watch it. And okay, a lot of you have told me that you don't have time to sit through a 4-hour course. So I do now have a quicker Microsoft Access for Beginners video that covers all the basics faster in about 30 minutes. And no, I didn't just put the video on fast forward. But I'll put a link to this down below as well. Now, if you like level 1, level 2 is just $1. That's it, $1. And that's another whole 90-minute course. Level 2 is also free for paid members of any level, including supporters. So if you're a member, go watch level 2. It's free. Okay, want to get your question answered in a video just like this one? Visit my Tech Help page and send me your question there. Members get priority, of course. While I do try to read and respond to all of the comments posted below in the comments section, I only have time to go through them briefly a couple of times a month, and sometimes I get thousands of them. So send me your question here on the Tech Help page, and you'll have a better chance of getting it answered. And while you're on my website, be sure to stop by my Access forum. We've got lots of lively conversations about Microsoft Access and other topics. I have a fantastic group of moderators who help me answer questions. Shout out to Alex, Kevin, Scott, Adam, John, Dan, Juan, and everybody else who helps out on the site. I appreciate everything you do. I couldn't do it without you. Be sure to follow my blog, find me on Twitter, and of course on YouTube. Yeah, I'm on Facebook too, but I don't like Facebook. Don't get me started. Now, let's talk more about those member perks if you do decide to join as a paid member. There are different levels: Silver, Gold, Platinum, and Diamond. Silver members and up get access to all of my extended cut Tech Help videos, one free beginner class every month, and some other perks. Gold members get all the previous perks, plus access to download the sample databases that I build in my Tech Help videos. plus access to my code vault where I keep tons of different functions that I use, the code that I build in most of the videos. You'll also get higher priority if you do submit any TechHelp questions. Now, answers are never guaranteed, but you do go higher in the list for me to read them. And if I like your question, you got a good chance of it being answered. You'll also get one free expert level class each month after you've finished the beginner series. Platinum members get all the previous perks plus even higher priority for TechHelp questions. You get access to all of my full beginner level courses for every subject. And I cover lots of different subjects like Word, Excel, VBA, ASP, lots of different stuff, not just Access. These are the full-length courses found on my website. You get all the beginner ones. In addition, once you finish the expert classes, you get one free developer class per month. So lots of training. And finally, you can also become a Diamond sponsor. You'll have your name or your company name listed on a sponsors page that will be shown on each video as long as you're a sponsor. You'll get a shout out in the video and a link to your website or product in the text below the video and on my website. So that's it. Once again, my name is Richard Rost. Thank you for watching this video brought to you by AccessLearningZone.com. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned something today. Live long and prosper, my friends. I'll see you again soon.